Everybody cried enough. The viewers are done crying. They're all dried up too. So, it was just too much. Guys, here we go with breaking down each player's performance and who gets the Russell Crown. So, right off the bat, we have the family visit. Now, as a player, I'll be honest with you, I want to see it. As a player, I'm actually there. Of course, it would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, something that I've always been waiting for, is to play the game and have my daughters out there with me. My 3 daughters, Hannah, Haley, the twins, Gracie, and Michael, my son. Yes, it would be an emotional moment for sure. My family's been through so much due to Survivor. I think I would break down just like the rest of them, to be honest with you. But as a fan of the show, it went on a little too long for me. 15 minutes, yes, I get it. I was enjoying it. Then it got to be the same. Like, come on, guys. You can only have so much emotion in one show. I think it was too much. I think they should have stopped it at 15. I understand Jeff giving it, and it seemed like a celebration of the show. It's the 40th season. So I understand Jeff giving it to the losers as well, the EOE guys. But I'll go ahead and say that I wish that wouldn't have happened because I wanted to see more of what just happened. We were so confused at the vote. Everyone was so confused on who voted for who, what happened, and that's due to the fact that we're seeing too much of other things when we shouldn't. The EOE family visit should have happened, but it should have happened off camera. We should have been able to view it somewhere else other than right there wasting our time. Everybody cried enough. The viewers are done crying. They're all dried up too. So, it was just too much. I get it. Like I said, I understand it, and I agree with it as a player for sure. If I was on EOE, I would want it to happen. But as a fan, we'll pass. All right, we'll get into the 10 players left and break down their performance. I'm going to start with Ben. The reason I'm starting with Ben is because we really didn't see Ben do anything. I think Ben is being completely controlled by the girls at this point. We see, Sophie making demands, making it happen. Even Sarah is starting to do a little bit more. Not much, but yes, I think that they're in control of this game and not Ben. So Ben better step up pretty soon or he'll be the one on the outs of his alliance. But I just wanted to talk about the easy one right off the bat, and that would be Ben. Now, we'll talk about Sarah. Sarah, like I said, I think she's controlling Ben, but she's not controlling that side of the alliance. She made her move by stealing a vote. That gave the team 6 votes. If they vote as a team, but you never know. You never know with these new schoolers. They're so wishy-washy. They really don't have solid alliances. We don't see that anyway. Even if they do, we're watching families cry instead of actually watching the strategic gameplay. And that's exactly what we're seeing. A lot of people really don't want to say that. I've seen tons of survivors that played the game say, "Oh, I'm crying. I love this episode." Then I've seen tons of fans say, "It's a little too much." I mean, yes, I enjoyed a little bit of it. I enjoyed a little bit of it. 15 minutes of it, 10 minutes of it. I enjoyed it. And then they even give awards to they didn't have to do a challenge. It was, I mean, I know I went back to that, but we're going to go ahead and give out the Russell Crown right now. While we're in this top, I put a list down, and I happen to have this person at the top of the list to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and give the Russell Crown to Tony. Again, second week in a row, Tony gets the Russell Crown. And by looks, with the secret scenes of the next episode, it looks like he's going to be in control or in charge of what happens again. Jeremy goes to Tony. Tells him he wants to get rid of Sarah. I don't understand that move. I don't get it, because everybody has to know at this point that Sarah and Tony are in an alliance. It's like Adam going to Rob, telling Rob to get rid of his alliance. Guys, I know you new schoolers, but you don't go up to someone that's in an alliance, probably the strongest alliance out there, and say you want to get rid of their alliance member. You just don't do that. It's a crazy move. And Tony didn't like it. So Tony immediately, he knows he needs to go further in the game with his people. Yes, Tony may stab his alliance in the back sooner or later. But he knows at some point, you have to go to the end. You need votes to get to the end of the game. And you can't do it by yourself. No matter how much you sit there saying, I'm winning this $2 million for me and me only. I get you saying that, but you need your alliance to get further in the game. So Tony, I think, is playing an amazing game at this point. He's protecting his alliance. He is getting further by doing that because he's going to have the votes behind him. And, he was such a big threat right off the bat, and all of a sudden, Tony ain't seen a vote yet. Tony wins his first individual immunity. Congratulations to Tony. That was 3 seasons, finally won. So, yes, Tony wins the crown. We're going to move on to Sophie. I think Sophie is right up there with Tony. Don't get me wrong. Sophie is playing an amazing game. Obviously, Sophie's in control of something. She makes him stand up. You 5, get up and come over here, or us 5. We'll get over here and we'll discuss this. So, it's a little of how Sophie always played, though. Because if you can remember Sophie at that immunity challenge, telling your boy, I forgot his name, telling him to drop what he's doing and come pick up her puzzle pieces, So it shows her a little bit in a different light that we may not see. You've seen it now. You see them get up and go to Sophie. You've seen her demanding, last time she played the game, of someone to pick up those puzzle pieces and bring it to her, which was you can't do because that was against the rules. But anyway, you see what I'm trying to say. So I think that she is in control of the game, or her part. Sophie controls Sarah. I think she's not doing too much right now. I know a lot of people are going to hate on that, but this is just what I'm seeing. That's that. That's all I'm seeing. So now we'll talk about Nick. Now, Nick's, I think, at the bottom of everything he's ever been on. Yes, they've been going after Nick quite a bit. This episode, they didn't go after Nick, but I'm not so sure that Nick and Michelle don't have something, which is super confusing because Nick is the one that got rid of Parvati. How can you trust him? I read a few things, and I've heard a few people think that they have some kind of secret alliance. We're not seeing it. We don't know what's going on at this point. But we'll go ahead and talk about Michelle while we're talking about Nick. So Michelle flips her vote, obviously. But everyone thought that Nick and Michelle at first flipped their vote to Denise, but that didn't happen. Michelle and Nick flipped their votes to Tyson. And I'm not sure if Michelle's not playing the double agent thing on both sides. We're not seeing that she is, though, because they're not editing that in. So you have to assume that they're not, or that she's not. She's not playing the double agent. She's just going as the wind blows. Now, as that tribal council went down, it's hard for me to sit here and break down each player's episode and then break down that whole tribal council. You're going to have to watch my live, my episode recap We tried to break it down there. Maybe my Q&A tonight, I'll break it down and try to explain it a little more because I'm trying to understand it myself at this point. Jeremy gets up and walks away because he had an advantage where he can do that. I think Jeremy is playing the worst game so far. Now, a while back, I gave Jeremy high ratings that he was playing a good game. Then it started getting worse and worse. Now, Jeremy walked away from his alliance when he had Denise. He voted for Denise, and I was like, you sometimes you have to be careful. You have to know when you have to jump ship. That ship is sinking, you have to jump it. He never fought for anything. He never fought for his alliance. Denise, okay? Then you go on and you have Wendell. Now, what happens when you don't fight for your alliance, all of a sudden you end up in tribal council 5-5. And you let two of your alliances go, Wendell and not Denise, but he didn't fight for her. So he didn't fight to keep his team strong. And we see again that Jeremy gets up and walks away. Again, he doesn't fight for his alliance. Again, he leaves them stranded. Now, I said this a long time ago with Kim. Kim had the opportunity to get Denise and Jeremy and all those tools that they had. Idols, walk away. Denise had 2. They could have got together, got rid of Sandra with her own idol, kept an idol. Denise has an idol. Kim has an idol. I said this when it happened. I was like, how come they're not getting together now? All of a sudden, they're together when they're at tribal and it's 5-5. Nobody knows. It's an even count. With when you let all this stuff go, now Kim says, "Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start doing something. I'm gonna play this game. I'm not gonna go out like that." Well, why didn't she do that when they were all together? And then she was siding with Tony. And she was siding with Sandra. Now look what Tony's doing to you, Kim. I was like, what is she doing? How come she's not getting together with Denise and Jeremy right now? She waits till the last minute, the last second. It's a bad gameplay, and it's showing now. So Kim uses an idol on Denise. Should have used it on Tyson. Now, shoulda, woulda, coulda. This comes to a point in time to where you have to make that right decision. I love the fact that she did that. I love the fact she turned around and she gave him the poker face. And she was looking and she was thinking, who are you going to vote for? Which one of you are you going to vote for? And she decides to give it to Denise, which was a surprise to me. At that point, with Jeremy walking away and Wendell saying out loud, he just walked away from his own. I don't know exactly how I said it, but he's like, he just walked away just like that from his own people, his own alliance. Wendell's upset he stabbed him in the back. Now Jeremy's the one to bring to the end at this point because Jeremy's the one that nobody's going to vote for. As I see Survivor happen, as we go on watching season after season, I'm starting to understand that, yes, you have the emotional part of the game that you have to start thinking about. He hurt everybody's feelings. Jeremy's the one that I would take to the end for sure, especially after hearing Wendell say that out loud. So I think that Kim, she started trying to play, but a little too late. If she would have done what she had to do, and she was so confused at this point in time in the game, she was so shook, she was upset all the time, she would look lonely, and she didn't want to play the game right now. Sometimes you have to play the game right now. And because she didn't, now her whole alliance is in trouble. All right, you have Denise. Denise, the Queen Slayer. They chose the wrong person. Denise is now all of a sudden playing under the radar. They were all talking about getting rid of Denise and because she's the Queen Slayer and the big move that she made. Everybody wants to get rid of people that made big moves on their resume, that they can sit there and talk to the jury the ones that give them the $2 million, and explain to them why I deserve the $2 million. At this point, it has to be Tony. With these 10 left, if the game ended right now, I'm giving that $2 million to Tony because he has had that threat right off the bat, and he fought through it and never had his name written down yet. So, yes, I give it to Tony. Now we're talking about the one that got voted off, and that's Tyson. Tyson, man, you got voted off because you was playing too aggressive. You went to EOE and you said, I'm playing too aggressive, basically. So, I'm going to do things different. And you did when you went back in for 3 days. You was under the radar. You didn't get your name written down. It was shock. Everybody was shocked. Oh, why didn't you just get rid of Tyson? You even said they should be getting rid of me. Now they do. Because you start playing aggressive again. You play exactly the same way you played before when you got voted off. You went right back to the same old tricks. And you get voted off due to that. Now, Tyson didn't learn the first time when he got voted off. He did the exact same thing. So I can't feel sorry for Tyson. Now we can sit back and say if this would have happened, if this would have happened. Yes, if Jeremy stays and Kim decides to vote or give her idol to Tyson, then whoever they vote for, probably Sophie, goes home. But that didn't happen. Everybody was wrong. Jeremy walks away from his alliance. The only thing that could have helped him was Jeremy walk away from his alliance. I'm going to go back to Michelle for just a second. Because Michelle flips on her alliance as well. But if Michelle is a double agent, then that's why she did it. But let's say she's not. Michelle, that's the time you flip. That's when you do it. When you sit there and you think of the math in your head, you see it. Here's the math. See? I'm already confused because we didn't see enough of it. You split the votes. I don't know. I don't know. It was so confusing. Not only was I confused, I watched a little bit of Rob C. Of course, he has a good show. Rob and Fishback's little show they got there, and it was interesting that they were confused too. Everybody really doesn't know exactly how it went down. Nobody knows if Michelle is a double agent or if she's flipped because she, as she's sitting there thinking, okay, here's what the numbers looks like in my head. I don't have a shot, so now I got to flip. There is a time that you have to flip in that game on your alliance when the ship is already sinking. You're standing on the bow of the ship, and you got to jump before you end up in the water anyway. You end up all wet anyway, but still. There's times you have to jump ship, and when she did the math in her head, I think that she jumped at that point. Or was she a double agent? Or her and Nick, or did they have something going on? What's going on? So, guys, the bottom line is we all are really confused, and that's due to the fact that we got 30 minutes of kissing and hugging. I get it, guys. It's so fun to watch people interact with their kids and cry, but man, that was just too much because now we don't know what's happening with the game. I wish they would have shortened it up a little bit, maybe 10 minutes. They didn't. So, until next episode, where we can understand a little bit more, hopefully, we get a little bit more of strategic plan, so we can know what's going on. We need to know what Michelle's doing. We need to know what Nick's doing. What's happening? What's happening there? Please let us know. CBS or SCG, whoever's editing this stuff, back in the day we used to understand it. We're not getting it now. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. Check out my merch right down there below. You can check that out if you want to. You can go to my Patreon page. we take care of our people. I go in there. I do my Q&A lives all the time. I'm really hands-on with those guys. If you like this kind of content, please hit the like button. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified when these videos drop. And that's it. Keep hope alive.